In this video, we'll discuss the facial markers indicating your kidneys need support and how to do it. Enjoy. In today's face reading tutorial, we're going to discuss how to nourish the kidneys. Now, this was a question that was asked by a subscriber, but the way I want to frame this in relation to face reading is, how do you know when you need to nourish your kidneys? And there are some markers on the face. I have touched on this topic in the past, but this video will specifically focus on what to see in the face to indicate that the kidneys need work, and then specifically what to do. So the thing I want you to think about, the area, the portion of the face that you want to keep your eyes on are right underneath the eyes here. When this area gets dark, this is very, very consistent in terms of meaning that you need to work on your kidneys. Your kidneys are being stressed. The kidney and water element system are being taxed. That's one. So darkness under the eyes is the first indicator. The second one is the countenance of the Shen, which comes across as a look of shock, a look of stillness, or excess stoicism. This is almost sort of like a shell-shocked look. It's like someone who is looking like a deer caught in headlights a little bit. When that look is consistent, and we're seeing that across the board where the person looks dazed and a little bit dissociated, this usually means that the kidney system has been overburdened, and as such, it needs some work. So if you are seeing dark circles under the eyes specifically, and or you can be both of these things or just one, that look of shock, here's what to do. The first thing is you want to assess your sleep. The classical image for the kidney system on how to restore it is a person laying down in a pitch black, soundless room, laying on their back. So this is basically code for quality sleep, but it points to stillness, quiet, and restoration. So when we see darkness under the eyes, this happens to a lot of us. If any of you have children, you don't get sleep, you're up late, you're doing too many things, we get dark under the eyes. So the first one is restoring the body. So we need to hone in on our sleep. The thing I recommend to my clients is invest in a quality eye mask. There's a lot of research right now about how even a little bit of ambient light coming in, the light pollution from street lights, night lights in particular, having your phones plugged in or clocks in your bedroom, that ambient light really does throw off the body, especially when you're trying to go to sleep. So you want to make your room either through blackout shades or an eye mask. I usually say the eye mask is easier because it's more cost effective than having to re-outfit your windows. But you want to get to the place where you have complete darkness while you sleep. Now, the next thing is paying attention to your lighting in your home. If you don't have dimmer switches, I suggest you invest in them. As the sun goes down, you want to start to make everything dimmer in your house. The reason for this is because you want your circadian rhythm to align and you want your body to not think that it's daytime. So if you are on your phone very late into the evening, if you're watching your favorite TV show until 9, 10 o'clock and beyond, that blue light tells the brain that it's daytime, and your body will make the hormones associated with that, which makes it hard to go to sleep. So you want to pay attention to these metrics to get your sleep on point. When you sleep well and you rest well, the kidneys are nourished. Now, the next one is your physical movements and how you pace throughout the day. Most of us move through life in a hurried fashion. We are moving through our house in shuffling through quickly. We are cooking our eggs fast. We're sort of hurried and rushed in our movements. The kidneys don't like this. The kidneys like slow pacing. So one of the things you can do to incrementally nourish the kidneys is pay attention to your physical movements throughout the day. You want to have a little bit more of a saunter. You want to have just sort of a wandering quality to your movements. So slow down. Instead of hurrying and getting a glass of water, do it slowly. Take time. Be aware of your physical movements. That's so important because most of us are scattered, hurried, and rushed. And again, the kidneys don't like this. The other one that we want to talk about is meditation. Now, meditation is hard for a lot of people here in the West because the mind is very active for most Americans and most people in the world. So what I say is, instead of tackling a massive meditation practice where you sit down for an hour every morning and get everything dialed in perfectly, work on micro meditations. That image that I talked about in the beginning, stillness. The kidneys love stillness, just like a cool, placid lake that has, a perfectly glass reflection. You want to embody that. So when we do micro meditations, what that means is, instead of overburdening the mind with a very long meditation practice, Start with 60-second meditations 3 times a day. That means in the morning, sit still, close your eyes for 60 seconds, and you can set a timer. Just focus on your breathing and be physically still. Do that again at lunch, do that again at night. And what you'll find over time is usually if you get into a little bit of a zone, you might stay there 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It might even bump into 10. But start with 1 minute. Micro meditations are a great way to nourish the kidney system and to bring those things down. Now, the next one is Qigong and Tai Chi. Now, I teach Qigong here in Sacramento. I'm going to be rebooting an online class. If any of you are interested, let me know. I can put you on my list. But slow, relaxed movements. There's a lot of resources on YouTube. There's a lot of DVDs and these kinds of things that you can buy. But slow, relaxed, watery movements are going to be quintessential for repairing and nourishing the kidneys. The next one, if you have one in your area, is float tanks. This is where they usually dissolve about 1,200 pounds of Epsom salts into water. And when you do that and you get into that place, this nourishes the kidneys. You're in that water. Salt is also the flavor associated with the kidneys. So the body taking up that magnesium salt is incredibly good for you, but that's a great way to let the central nervous system relax and calm down, again, nourishing the kidneys. In terms of emotional rhythms, you want to pay attention to awe, fascination, and wonderment. Whatever it is that you do that gets you into those states, that is the opposition of fear, panic, and dread is what the water element regulates. And then lastly, your diet. Focus on bone marrow. You can make it yourself or get bone broth powder. There's lots of companies that make it now. Focusing on eggs because they are super nutrient dense, and salty foods, things like sauerkraut and pickled foods, and investing in quality salt. There's a lot of salt contamination these days with microplastics and heavy metals. So go online, make sure that the salt you use is a high mineral salt that doesn't have those things in it, the microplastics and whatnot. And if you do that, you're on your way to nourishing your kidneys. All right, y'all, take care.